My dear friends, come closer and listen to the story of a father. Once he was a husband and a millionaire, but betrayal and loss left him homeless, unseen by the world. Can kindness guide him back to the daughter who does not know his name? Listen carefully and find out. But before that, if you want to help our little channel grow, please give a like and subscribe. But most importantly, tell us where you come from in the comments. Now let's begin. Blue hour draped the park, while gentle snow threaded light between trees. A little girl, in a red coat, held a paper bag. Her boots were dusted white, her cheeks glowed warm, against winter air. Across from her, a weary man crouched beside a rattling shopping cart. His coat was thin, breath silvering, hands steadying the cart's stubborn wheel. Behind them, the mother waited, posture hard, eyes narrowed, like frozen branches. She had called him dirty, warned the child to stay away entirely. But kindness is stubborn. The girl stepped forward and offered the bag. The man looked up slowly, and the world hushed to listen close. He saw familiar eyes, small and serious, shining like remembered daylight. He whispered a name into his sleeve, swallowing the sound with snow. Once he was wealthy, boardrooms bright, magazines smiling upon every triumph. A marriage glittered publicly, while private rooms chilled with closing doors slowly. Arguments grew edges, affection thinned, trust cracked like river ice overnight. Divorce arrived quietly, then thundered, signatures, boxes, keys handed away. She took accounts, apartment, car, and the baby without hesitation or pause. He stood stunned, papers fluttering. A man emptied faster than winter daylight. Fortune evaporated, loneliness stayed, thick and unspendable within quiet pockets. He learned doorways, soup lines, library warmth, and how snow forgives footprints. Tonight brought impossible grace, his daughter, unknowingly kind, offering food gently. He dared not speak her name. The mother watched with iron patience. The girl held the bag out, with both hands, solemnly brave. Inside waited a sandwich, cookies, and an orange bright like pocket sunrise. He accepted, as if receiving a medal, hammered from human mercy. Snow kept falling, soft applause. The lamps hummed their patient winter hymn. The mother called sharply, urging the girl to return. This instant, please. Are you hungry? The child asked, voice small, yet steady and clear. Yes, thank you, he answered, voice cracked like thin ice over water. She smiled, relief blooming like lantern light in a tiny chest. What color do you like? He asked, aiming for harmless conversation. Red, she said, like my coat and the wrappers at home. He nodded. Red once colored a nursery he painted through midnight. The mother stepped forward, every boot print strict, wind hardened around her jaw. Thank the man and come, she ordered, wrapping fear around her words. The girl hesitated and asked if he felt cold these nights. You get used to winter, he said, then almost laughed sadly. He tucked the cookies away, saving sweetness for a later ache. The mother reached them, chin lifted, gaze dismissing him like drifting litter. Please come, darling. We do not talk to strangers like him. The girl looked between faces and placed the orange back into hands. For you, she said, certain as snowfall, gentle as breath shared. He nearly spoke truth, but swallowed it, like fire hidden under snow. Memory rose vivid, delivery room light, first cry, vows whispered trembling. He had promised always to provide, protect, and be there, always. Now always meant distance, benches, quiet prayers, and watching crosswalks, carefully nightly. Gratitude steadied him. He breathed slowly, matching the snowfall's calm cadence. The mother tugged gently. The world tightened, threads of possibility pulling taut. "May I ask one more question?" the girl said, voice polite. The mother sighed, then nodded, a judgment disguised as thin mercy. "Do you have a home?" she asked, eyes wide with wonder. He studied his cart, then her, and answered softly, "Not yet. But I have names. I keep warm inside, especially one bright." The mother stiffened, hearing danger near truth, wind sharpening her shoulders. He redirected gently, thanking them for remembering people the city forgets. The girl beamed, the bag seemed lighter, gravity shared between hearts. Snow-patterned coats, lamps sang, the path glowed, a quiet blue. He wanted to say, "I am your father, my lighthouse." Truth could shatter her evening and invite storms from courtrooms again. So he guarded silence, like breath cupped carefully in both hands. The mother pulled away, the girl waved, mitten brushing falling flakes kindly. He raised 2 fingers, a small salute from a soldier of tenderness. Footsteps stitched paths, distant sirens braided with wind and humming wires. "Why does kindness make adults angry?" the girl asked while walking. "Because danger hides everywhere," the mother said, tightening scarf and pace. "But danger does not look like cookies," the girl whispered thoughtfully. He watched them recede, silhouettes thinning into snowfall and soft lamps. The bag warmed his hands, the orange glowed like a planet. He imagined homework, bedtime stories, and gentle patience during tired evenings. He pictured repairing bicycles, saving coins, finding keys to a room. He would buy thicker boots, warm gloves, and sturdier hopes soon. Above all, he would protect her, even from his shadow sometimes. The girl turned once more, a last glance floating like ribbon. He held the gaze, thankful, promising to endure this long winter. The mother noticed, mistook gratitude for daring, and hardened further still. She spoke about boundaries, germs, irresponsibility, and lessons for careful living. The girl listened quietly, squeezing her hand, still kind, still brave. He rose slowly, knees complaining, and pushed the cart a little. He followed at distance, invisible guardian, shaped from shame and love. Not stalking, simply ensuring crosswalks and corners behaved for his child. His child, he repeated silently, the phrase warming him, like tea. The mother glanced back, measured the distance, relaxed by a thread. He paused at a corner, let traffic pass, steadied his breathing. He remembered boardrooms, votes, signatures that once moved cities with whispers. None of that equaled a sandwich, received with reverence from her. Kindness redrew wealth. Tonight he felt richest on the cold path. He adjusted the draped coat and kept moving through gentle snowfall. Ahead, mother and child waited, the crossing signal slowly changing color. He stopped several paces back, snow deepening around his patched boots. When the light changed, he counted, giving them space and time. They crossed safely, relief flooded him, warm as remembered summer evenings. He whispered thank you to lamps, snow, and stubborn goodness tonight. Tomorrow would ask more of him. Tonight had returned direction. And that is how the beginning found him, holding quiet hope. Morning arrived pale and blue. He woke beneath a frosted awning. He ate slowly, saving half the sandwich for the afternoon hunger. The orange waited like a sun he could pocket for difficult hours. He walked to the library, warmed hands, and read job postings carefully. Applications asked for addresses, references, recent history he could not provide. He wrote anyway, honest words like stitches pulling torn life together. Outside, snow brightened. He pushed the cart toward a bicycle shop. "May I sweep and fix flats?" he asked, voice steadying kindly. The owner studied him, and nodded toward a broom and bucket nearby. Work is work, the owner said. Earn hours, then earn trust. He swept salt, trued a wheel, and remembered grease under fingernails. Hands relearned purpose. Small coins gathered. Dignity returned like thawing earth. At lunch, he peeled the orange slowly, saving segments for later. He whispered her name to each bright slice, a private prayer. Across town, the mother repeated warnings, calling compassion naive and dangerous. Yet memory nagged. The man had thanked them with careful gentleness. She recalled early years, champagne smiles, promises that curdled into silence. She recalled courtroom victories, clean paperwork, accounts reduced to single signer. Power tasted good then. Bitterness lingered afterward, like old coffee. The child, meanwhile, drew a picture, red coat, orange, gentle snow. She asked questions softly, the way thoughtful children test adult walls. Why would a stranger save cookies, she asked, if truly dangerous today? Because kindness is rare, the teacher answered, sometimes misunderstood by frightened hearts. Evening returned, lamps hummed. The path awaited like a remembered stage. He finished sweeping, earned a few bills, and bought thicker socks. He kept one cookie, wrapped carefully, to leave somewhere she visits. He would not break rules. Distance would be his careful devotion. On the path, he spotted them again, two silhouettes against snowfall. The girl waved first. The mother tightened, drawn like a bowstring. He stopped far back, heart loud, and waited for their decision. This time the mother spoke first, asking about shelters and services nearby. He answered politely, grateful, naming locations, schedules, and warm places patiently. She studied him, surprised by vocabulary, posture, and the unboastful manners. The girl asked if bicycles break more often during winter months. He smiled, explained salt, bearings, chains, and why fenders matter greatly. The mother interrupted, reminding them both of time, dinner, and homework obligations. Before leaving, the child offered mittens. He refused, protecting her fingers. He handed back one orange segment. Share it with your mother. The mother faltered, then accepted, eyes thawing a single cautious degree. They left footprints like commas, promising another sentence on another evening. He sat, breathing slowly, feeling conversation echo warm beneath his ribs. Memory returned. Her first laugh, bath time splashes, tiny socks like petals. He remembered court orders, restricted distances, and lawyers guarding doorways strictly. He remembered his failures too. Pride, absence, travel, and silence afterward. Guilt pressed hard, but duty pressed harder, a compass that refused spinning. He began collecting cans to sell, keeping the park cleaner daily. People noticed. Someone left coffee. Another offered a scarf with kindness. He kept the scarf untouched, hoping to trade for children's books tomorrow. Books felt like bridges he could build without crossing forbidden lines. At the shop, the owner extended hours, impressed by steady patience. He saved each coin in an envelope labeled stone by stone. Stone by stone meant rent someday, a door that locks, safety inside. Meanwhile, the mother dreamed uneasily, courthouse hallways echoing like endless tunnels. She remembered his generosity before bitterness, how he funded her schooling completely. She remembered anger crowding grief until every room felt airless and metallic. Morning brought a message. The school requested volunteers for winter reading day. The child wanted the park volunteer with bicycles to read aloud. The mother hesitated, then declined gently, citing policies and safety rules. The child cried quietly, then drew another picture. Wheels, cookies, orange. That evening, the wind rose. Drifts formed. The path narrowed significantly. He waited near a lamp, listening for their footsteps like heartbeat. They arrived late. The mother looked tired. The child looked determined. "Please keep distance," the mother said, "but thank you for yesterday's information." He nodded, grateful, and offered a folded paper with shelter directions. A gust shoved ice. The child slipped, sliding toward the curb. He moved without thinking, caught her coat, and twisted to shield impact. They both fell. The cart rattled. The mother shouted, sprinting forward. He lifted the girl upright, checking elbows, brushing snow from sleeves. "I am okay," she said bravely, then clung to him briefly. The mother reached them, breath ragged, fear cracking her voice sharply. "Thank you," she managed, the words unfamiliar but honest in winter air. He stepped back, palms open, distance restored like a boundary fence. The girl squeezed his hand quickly, gratitude bright as lantern light. He released gently, bowed his head, and retreated 3 careful steps. The mother studied him differently now, wondering about history concealed carefully. She remembered a wristwatch he once wore, identical scars along knuckles. She dismissed the thought, then felt it return, heavy as sleet. They walked home slowly, the child humming, mother folded in questions. He followed at distance, ensuring streetlights and corners behaved obediently tonight. At his sleeping spot, he counted coins, then counted promises again. He decided to buy warm crayons and a tiny storybook tomorrow. Gifts she could find anonymously on the bench near their tree. Anonymous giving felt like fatherhood shaped from snowfall and watchfulness only. The city snored. Freight trains whispered. Stars hid behind bright clouds. He spoke to the night. "Help me provide without breaking rules." Morning answered with pale sunlight and a flyer for warehouse positions. He applied, told the truth, promised punctuality, and offered shop references. The owner vouched gladly, saying patience and care hold every wheel true. A temporary shift opened. Steel felt heavy, but hope felt heavier. He worked until knuckles ached, then bought crayons, bread, and tea. At dusk he placed the book carefully where small hands explore. He stepped away, waited, watched discovery bloom into delighted laughter nearby. The mother found the note, for readers who brave snowy nights. She looked around, saw him across the path, hands respectfully hidden. "Thank you," she mouthed, and something long frozen finally dared move slightly. Days passed, routines formed. The shop, the warehouse, the park. He saved slowly, stone by stone, toward keys and a door. The mother softened by inches, conversations lengthening beyond quick warnings. The child brought jokes. Laughter stitched evenings like warm threaded embroidery. One night, storm sirens wailed. Trees groaned, lights flickered uncertainly everywhere. A branch cracked near the crossing. The child froze, eyes wide. He lunged, pulled them back, and took the blow across shoulders. They tumbled together, snow puffed upward. The cart rolled away clattering. Silence followed, then tears, then the mother cradling his bruised arm. "Come inside the foyer," she said, "just until the wind calms." They sheltered by mailboxes. Heat hissed. Nerves unspooled like tangled thread. The child offered tea from a thermos, steam blessing cold hands. "You always appear when needed," she said, like a secret lighthouse. He smiled sadly, eyes bright, courage gathering like migrating birds returning. "There is truth I carry," he said, careful as holding glass. The mother stared, understanding approaching like a train through falling snow. "Not here," she whispered, "tomorrow afternoon, the community office neutral ground. Bring references, documents, proofs. I will bring memory and questions finally." He nodded, heart hammering, relief and dread wrestling like brothers inside. That night he barely slept, counting breaths and reciting gentle promises. Morning brightened. He gathered papers, old photographs, and a dismissal letter. He added a receipt from the shop owner, praising steady work. He tucked the child's drawing into the stack, secret courage talisman. At the office, fluorescent lights buzzed, chairs squeaked. Clocks marched sternly. The mother arrived, jaw set, but eyes uncertain, remembering last night. He spoke first, voice level, explaining downfall without excuses or accusations. He described pride, neglect, and learning humility under open skies painfully. He described sobriety, counseling, odd jobs, and the bicycle shop. He acknowledged court orders, promised respect, asked permission to contribute carefully. The mother examined photographs, hospital wristband, first blanket, tiny hat. Her fingers trembled. Memory crashed through stubborn walls like bright water. "I hated you," she said, "because success felt lonelier beside me. I took everything to feel safe, then felt empty afterward anyway." He nodded. "I failed you both. I hid inside work's applause. Silence held them." The clock clicked. Snowlight pooled along windowsills. The child knocked then, escorted by a volunteer, holding the book. She saw them together, tilted her head, and waited without fear. The volunteer offered crayons. The child sat, drawing bicycles and cookies. The mother exhaled, then asked the question heavy as iron gates. "What do you want?" Truly, without anger, defenses, or rehearsed speeches. He answered simply, "To provide, to protect, and to be allowed." Not titles, not revenge, only time that respects every boundary carefully. A plan emerged, fragile as frost, shaped by schedules and supervision. Library visits, park walks, daytime phone calls, and regular updates weekly. No secrets, no sudden appearances, no testing of hard-won trust. He agreed immediately, relief loosening years of tightness in his chest. The mother signed tentative forms. The volunteer smiled, witness to beginnings. The child finished drawing and presented a picture of 3 hands. They looked like mountains touching, lines steady, colors hopeful and bright. First supervised visit happened beneath windows, filled with paper snowflakes decorations. He brought a repaired bell and a book about brave helpers. They read together, voices braided, pauses filled with grateful listening. The mother watched, surprised by calm competence and patient, silly sound effects. He returned the child on time, thanked everyone, and walked into wind. Weeks passed, envelopes filled. He rented a room with a lock. A mattress, kettle, lamp, and small shelf felt like a palace. He framed the drawing, placed it above the kettle like sunrise. Work expanded. The shop offered part-time. The warehouse offered evenings. He slept deeply for once, dreaming trains that finally stopped drifting. During visits, the child asked thoughtful questions about wheels and promises. He answered honestly, never blaming, always pointing toward tomorrow and repair. The mother listened, sometimes smiling, sometimes slipping into quiet reflection. One Saturday, she handed him a wrapped package, hesitant but sincere. Inside lay wool gloves and a photograph of the newborn. "I kept this hidden," she said, "because looking felt like drowning." "Thank you for surfacing with me," he replied, voice warm and steady. Spring approached, snow thinned. Puddles mirrored a sky growing braver. He saved for a refurbished bicycle sized perfectly for small adventures. The plan allowed short rides with supervision along the quiet lanes. They practiced ringing the bell politely and signaling with outstretched arms. Laughter replaced sirens. Geese returned. The park smelled of wet bark. One evening, the child asked carefully if she could use Dad. The mother swallowed hard, then nodded slowly, eyes filling with complicated weather. He blinked fast, then said the word back, gentle and amazed. They all stood in blue twilight, hearing water under thawing earth. He promised aloud to cherish the title by serving, never demanding. The mother added conditions, clear and fair, protecting everyone with structure. He agreed gratefully, thankful that safety could include second chances too. They walked home together, 3 shadows weaving one path through puddles. At the door, he stopped, honoring boundaries that now felt shared. The child hugged him quickly, whispering thank you for cookies and courage. He answered thank you for oranges and drawings that kept me alive. The mother watched, then extended a hand, not shaking, simply steady. He took it lightly, respectful, acknowledging both past storms and future weather. Later, alone, he brewed tea and studied the framed drawing. Stone by stone had become room by room within his heart. He wrote a letter promising patience, presence, and transparent communication always. He sealed it, dated it, and placed it beneath the frame. Tomorrow would bring chores, rides, and another chapter read aloud together. He slept with the window cracked, listening to confident rain outside. The city sounded different when Hope tuned every familiar instrument carefully. Morning found 3 breakfasts, 3 calendars, and a shared list of plans. They agreed to start small, repeat often, and celebrate steady progress. No headlines, only living, which is harder and braver than glory. And if you pass them, you will hear laughter stitching home. The end. Thank you for watching and for listening until the very end. I appreciate your support. It means so much to our little channel. Every comment you leave, I read with care, and I always reply. I want to learn more about how my stories reach you and what they mean. Your thoughts guide me, inspire me, and help these stories find their way further. We will meet again in the next story, maybe even the one on the screen now. Have a great day.